Hello there, greetings and salutations. I'm back with another movie review. This one is for Psycho Goreman, which is listed as a 2020 film, but it was exclusively released to Shudder in late May of 2021. That's right, another film from Shudder, which has been more and more often easily justifying my subscription. Even if I didn't have the sale that I mentioned in one of my previous videos, a review for Fried Berry, Shudder is very worth the subscription. There's a lot of good content on there. Anyway, this film, Psycho Goreman, is written and directed by Steven Kostanski and starring no one I'm familiar with at all. So not only was I not familiar with this movie coming onto the radar at all, I wasn't familiar with the director or the writer or any of the actors. So this one was a complete mystery to me going in, and I was going in solely on the trailer that I saw when Shudder made the announcement that this was coming. As seems to be usual for me these days, I picked another weird one here. So, what is this plot? Well, officially it says that Mimi and Luke resurrect an alien overlord and, using a magical amulet they discovered, force him to obey their childish whims. It isn't long before intergalactic friends and foes converge in suburbia to battle for the fate of the galaxy. That does not prepare you for what you're in for, and this movie's definitely surprising. Seeing the poster and the ad for this, I assumed it was possibly like a horror monster movie, maybe. Then I saw some of the trailer, which started off a bit more sci-fi-like, and then really throws in a lot of comedy. So I figured, all right, I'm going to have to check this one out. So within this film, there's a level of cheese I can only describe by asking you to imagine crossing a family-friendly sci-fi comedy with random blood-splattered all over the top gore and a dash of Power Rangers level costuming on various intergalactic characters. So throughout the film, I was easily on board with what the writer-director was presenting. It was an interesting plot with such absurd comedy thrown in that for a surprising amount of the time, I felt like I was watching a kid's movie from like the late 80s to early 90s perhaps, until like a kid would explode or a character would devour another character by unhinging their jaw like a snake, allowing it to get bigger and bigger until they could swallow a person whole. Very strange. But somehow this balance actually works pretty well in that I never got tired of the comedic, family-friendly side of it. And then when something more gory would come up, that intended shock value would really set in. So I never got bored with the gore because there wasn't too much of it. Never got bored with the comedy because it never went overboard for what they were trying to balance. But even more surprising were the performances. Every character was surprisingly well put together and portrayed in a very realistic way, which is strange against a backdrop of a family sci-fi horror gore fest. I think watching network TV, like a sitcom maybe, and all of a sudden somebody gets their face ripped off. Now, I wouldn't recommend this for the little ones out there, of course. It's listed officially as not rated, but if it went up against a ratings board or something, would definitely get an R for the violence and the gore. But hey, it's worth checking out, especially because it's a very swift 95 minutes, which is within that horror comedy sweet spot of mine, which is, 85 to 100 minutes. This is compared to a newer film I watched last weekend involving zombies that, is 2.5 hours long, and I had a really hard time staying engaged. So this nice little 95-minute film worked very well, is quick and fun. But anyways, for this one, I would have to give it a B-, I would say, as I can definitely see queuing this one up for, from time to time for something fun and light and weird to have on, especially if we can get Joe, Bob, and Darcy to set this one up as part of their last drive-in one day. Anyways, thanks for coming on over for this short review. Be sure to like, subscribe, and share. Stay off the pipe, and if someone steps to you, tell them I'm chillin'.